Hello, Sean. So
What's
I
up,
think
dude?
this is conversation number 3, right?
Yeah, it sounds right.
Yeah, I'm just trying to number them and record them properly. So from the last time we spoke, I have figured out how to make clips a little bit better. Like I sent a few your way and we posted them. I figured out how to potentially record in person and then upload to Riverside or maybe another platform to put it together and then Riverside
Hmm.
and then get it going. So this is my idea. So I got a 360 camera and I want to be like the most low budget. Like I don't want to buy high end cameras and shit like that. I want to use old cell phones and that 360 camera. That's it. So if I put the 360 camera here, it records everything around it. So if I'm sitting here, somebody else is sitting here, I can export two different videos with head like image or head tracking. So it
Hmm.
stays on this person, it stays on this person in like a 1:1 format or like a 16:9 format, so it doesn't have to be vertical. And I can have two separate ones, and then afterwards, I think I have to pay for CapCut, and I can upload a CapCut, put them side by side or up above each other, and then I can upload to Riverside, which does the whole captioning and everything. I think that's
I
how I
mean,
have
it
to do
makes
it.
sense.
Yeah, I'm sure there's other software that does it all properly. I don't have to have 10 different ones, which I haven't figured out yet, but that's
I
my
mean,
workaround for now.
the amount of people that I know that use CapCut regularly and Riverside,
Yeah,
it's probably the two of them together.
yeah, the two of them together, right? So, but this is how I can, because every other, I tried 3 different softwares I found online. I couldn't figure out how to do it. CapCut is very simple. You can just drag it this way, drag it this way. I can put two videos running at the same time on the same section. So, yeah, so that's gonna be the next thing I'm gonna try in 2 weeks. Me and my buddy McNeil Lashley. We're gonna try to figure out how to do it in person. So
Nice.
yeah.
That should be fun.
So yeah, so it's gonna be around in my house, or I think I told you about the place in Hamilton I go to sometimes to write or just hang out called the Prop
That
House.
that coffee shop with all the props.
Yes, yes. So that'd be cool surrounding to do it, but they changed their hours, so they're not really open Monday, Tuesdays. And that's, I think we're meeting
Okay.
Tuesday or Thursday. I don't even know, but 2 weeks from now. And either there or here. And then I think I figured out how to do it. I know, like, I got the right memory card now for the 360 camera. The old one was too slow. So it was actually only recording in slow mo.
Oh wow.
So I recorded stuff. I'm like, what the hell? That's when I made that small clip for about Matt's book. The first recording, I'm like, why is it going so slow? I couldn't figure out what to do, and the sound was like, I didn't even know we recorded sound or not. But got that. I had to go buy the SIM card, not SIM card, the micro SD, and then it got working. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Did you train anybody today, or is this an easy day for you?
Oh, I trained a couple people this morning.
Nice. So
Yeah.
now you get to chill and have all the junk
Well,
food and watch anime.
now I get to hang out with my dog because she has an upset stomach yesterday and didn't eat dinner or breakfast. So we're just kind of watching, making sure there's nothing weird.
Hey, if fasting works for us, then it works for the dog too.
Yeah, but like them not eating typically like can mean other things. So like we have to watch for like some other like behavioral changes and everything. She's been
I'm pretty
completely normal.
sure if we know some people when they don't eat, it pretty means some behavioral things too.
Well, like for dogs, it can
Okay,
be like it's called bloat, but like in it's like the stomach lining gets shifted and then
I've heard about that.
swells.
Where the stomach flips.
Yeah. So I hate saying stomach flips because I had somebody want like a vet once tell me that like their stomach itself isn't technically flipping, but like it's the best way to explain it to people. And I'm like, all right.
Uh, so the
So like
inside lining flips, not the stomach. Oh, you okay? That's what
yeah,
I've
I'm
been
gonna say
told. That with
that one I don't know far enough. But
okay,
like just watching to like make sure like she's still drinking when we go for a walk later, make sure she's still like doing normal things.
yeah.
She doesn't have any like swelling or anything in her stomach, so and like
Is
no
she energetic
tenderness.
still? Is she energetic still?
She's as energetic as normal.
There you go. That's fine.
Like she was very happy to go on a walk this morning, and then middle of the day she's kind of lazy, which is great. Like she's just like I'm hanging out. She's
Yeah.
like jumped up to the window a couple times, like when she sees squirrels run across the power line. But
What's your dog's name again?
Bella,
Bella. Okay, Bella. Just so I remember in case you say it. I'm like, okay, that's a dog, not another person. Okay.
who is this? I don't know this person.
Well, the names will register sooner or later. What were we talking about beforehand? Oh, we're talking
Uh,
about my
your
testosterone
yeah,
replacement
your
therapy.
testosterone and everything. Because I thought the last time we talked about it, you were getting back on testosterone, but on a lower
No,
dose. I didn't realize that you were consistently on, and you're just dropping it now.
so I've been consistently on testosterone replacement therapy since 2019. Okay.
Okay.
The dose they gave me was really high, actually. It was around 200 milligrams or 250, which is very high for TRT. But my blood work was never showing anything higher than it's supposed to be. It was actually still like, so they say if it's above 500, then you're like, okay, you can lower your dose again. I wasn't even breaking 400 for a while. So what we figured out afterwards, and this is just a bunch of research on my own, is I went to a naturopath because I didn't want to get put on like I guess modern medicine. I guess that's what it, yeah, I wanted to go like more natural way. So we did a test for cortisol levels, figured that my cortisol was so out of whack that it was eating up all my testosterone that I was injecting in my body. But
Makes sense.
good to know, because if I didn't get on TRT, I don't even know if I could have like figured out my cortisol levels to get fixed without being on TRT, right? Because like the cortisol levels were out of whack, but it was eating the TRT, and I was like kind of operating a lot better than I was before. So once I got the cortisol levels fixed, took like 3 months of consistent like supplements at certain times of the day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, you probably already know this, but cortisol level has to be on a graph that's like different
like
levels. Yeah, like a big like upside down check mark or something like that, right?
it's like high in the morning, low in the evening.
Yeah, and that's how you get tired of getting ready to sleep and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So mine was all over the place, where like certain levels it was like not even there, or was out of. So got that all in order. Once that was in order, the blood test and my free test, I think it was, and my blood work went over 1,000.
Oh wow,
So
okay.
it was like 1,100, and that was the only thing I changed. I fixed my cortisol level. So then I lowered my testosterone dose down to 150,
Mm-hmm.
or like 160, then down to 150, and I felt so much better. Like so much better. Having too much test was not working for me. And now with I used AI, had a conversation with it, I uploaded my blood work, did all that, and I asked for a supplement routine that supports the testosterone, and I gave a history of like, I'm South Asian, this is a PTSD, these are the meds I was on, I'm off these meds now, no side effects. I went down very, very detailed, and everything it said was in line with supplements I've learned in the past. But you know how you can read all these things, know all these things, but then it's too much information to parse out what goes where and what works well together.
Yeah.
So I used AI to kind of get rid of all the fluff and just figure out, okay, these are the supplements I take at different times of day. And my goal is to see if this works. I'm just starting a new supplement routine, see if it works for about 3 months, get blood work done, and I'm lowering my dose of testosterone down to 120, because according to AI, and then I read corroborating studies, this should fill in the gap of like 20%. So I figured if I drop down about maybe half of 20% or whatever, then I will need less of other compounds, and I can stay on testosterone longer while I need it. But it helps me like taper off if I ever want to get off.
Oh, that makes sense. That's kind of fun.
So it's been interesting.
It's impressive what people can pull off with AI nowadays.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I still have to double check everything, because AI can just read and say whatever. We can assume it's right, but we don't know if it's right. So I did have to do some double checking. It took me like a week just to like passively figure it out. But I don't have all the supplements. I'm waiting for a couple of like the naturopath supplements to come in, hopefully this week or next week. But I've already started lowering my dose of testosterone to just figure out the gap and what works. Because I find when I'm not using a super high dose of testosterone, I find my breathing better, which is interesting. And it might be because from my reading is that men have larger level of androgen receptors up on the shoulder area and upper chest. So without doing shoulder workout, you can put mass on these areas, which could cause harder breathing, right? And since I'm still figuring out other like symptoms and things like diet and other things I want to figure out to be healthy, having that extra mass was like no reason. So right. So
no, breathing's kind of more important than
yeah. And what's funny is like lowering my testosterone dose, I haven't really lost much size and mass or anything, because I had the size before I went on testosterone. But I've noticed that it's actually easier for me to like lose weight or get like leaner. I don't know why. Like, yeah, I have no idea why I can't find anything that makes sense. It's just maybe it's a me thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't have anything for you on that one.
Yeah, it's new to me, right? So that's the one thing I couldn't figure out, but I feel better with less. And there's some other people who say that instead of doing testosterone and only testosterone has TRT, some people are like, do a lower dose testosterone, like only 100 a week, and then do HCG to support it. And that's a better, for a lot of people, that's a better for testosterone for mood and everything to keep everything balanced and fertility.
Interesting. I
Yeah.
didn't know that side of it. I haven't looked too
Yeah.
much in the TRT side.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I only know about it because I'm using it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have no idea either. So, yeah. But yeah. So, other than that, life's pretty good. Just a lot of studying, and my brain started from that. So, accounting is its own language.
Yeah, I was about to ask you, like, what classes are you in this time now?
So, the same classes, I'm doing 3 classes this semester. One is like business math level 1 and accounting level 1. You have to do general accounting, and then one's computers. And it's just how to use Word, how to use Excel, but more detailed than I knew. So still, I could keep up with it, no problem, but like little things that I didn't know. And
you're just like, I didn't know that could do that.
Yeah. But it's one of those things that I like, that it's giving me stuff to build on. But it's good. It's helping me build mental stamina again, because I haven't been in school in so long. And with the PTSD and being off work and focusing only on that for so long, having the stamina to just focus and read on one thing is something I have to rebuild.
Which, makes sense. Last time we were talking, you were basically saying during that PTSD time, you were just kind of, I'm going to do this, and now I'm going to do this, and you just move between things because focus wasn't an option.
No, it wasn't an option, and I didn't have really a direction at that point, other than the main direction was focus on fixing the PTSD. That was my job, basically. When you're off work for that, my job is basically tackling the PTSD only. So outside of that, everything else was kind of a scattered brain. Now it's everything else getting more focused again. It feels great. So yeah,
probably feels a little more human again.
Yeah, whatever human is. Yes.
Yeah. Well, we'll have our own unique experiences.
Yes. But yeah. Any interesting things with your clients for training or anything, or no?
No, this week's been relatively simple, which is pretty nice. Sometimes those weeks are really good for myself and for clients.
There you go. Then the other question is, then you can go into more about your biking and how you're going to ride across America and do a mini movie.
That would be so long. No, I did. I went out for like 32 miles yesterday.
How many miles are you going to do a day? Oh, sorry. Again, I'm going to try to do this in case I ever come back to this later in life, or anybody else watching, you know what we're talking about. You explain what you're doing. We have to explain it every time, and then
taking the train to Chicago, and then riding from Chicago all the way back down to St. Louis with, I think it's now officially a group of 9.
Oof.
Yeah.
Good.
And like
all you're going to eat is gas station food.
I mean, I actually have no idea what the plans are. I know each day we stop, we are in a big enough city that like we can get probably whatever. Like there's going to be grocery stores wherever we stop, or other places.
Okay.
But like at that point, we're also burning so many calories that it's kind of like, what's going to eat to make us not feel like we're going to die tomorrow?
Yeah. And also that you're not going to poop yourself.
Also, we're not going to poop ourselves, because that would be a problem.
Okay. So again, never, like, I've always biked for work, but never like consistently for a destination like this.
Yeah.
So I've been on a bike a lot, but not like you guys are doing it. A lot of sprinting, a lot of stopping. That's what my life on a bike was, right?
Yeah.
So
hop on a bike.
Yeah, no, but I'm asking, like, do you know how many kilometers you're aiming for a day? Like, do you have that mapped out or no?
No, not kilometers. I know the miles.
Miles. Apologize.
Day one is
archaic, like some king's foot, and then you just have that still, right? So
listen, it works kind of. It's not great. It's not great.
You broke away from England, and yet you kept their measurement system.
That's the only one we kept.
It makes no sense though. Like you didn't want anything to do with them, and then you go into, let's measure some random dude's foot from ancient times, and we're gonna go with that.
Yeah, we want to be different.
I don't know. It sounds like you wanted to be the same. You didn't want to let go of the mother's tit, so
they stopped using it too. They're the metric system now.
They aren't, well, because they moved on.
Well, because it's the one thing that when they conquered a quarter of the globe, they went, everyone else is using this, and it's kind of a great thing. We should probably
now that I said this, where did what's metric imperial? Where did the imperial system come from?
England.
It did, right? Okay, I was right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and like you're not wrong. It was, they measured a king's foot, and that was the standard unit of measurement.
Yeah, and I don't remember if it was true. I think it was like on some comedy sketch back in the day saying that every time the king changes, the measurement changes. It was a
No, I
so I
think I
couldn't even
checked
tell
it
if it was
one
real or not,
specific
but
one.
yeah. Okay. All right. Sorry, I cut you off. Okay. How many miles a day?
So like each day is a little bit different.
Mhm.
It's 377 ish total.
Mhm.
Day one is going to be about 50.
Okay.
Day two is about 120.
Okay.
Then 78, and
Is that
then
like
one.
downhill? That's why it's 120?
It's from Chicago to St. Louis. The As a whole, it is technically downhill, but
Oh,
it is
okay.
kind of a
Hilly
downhill.
downhill.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Okay.
And no, I Charlie told me why he picked where we're stopping, but it's
Yeah.
like these are like the major cities that make the most sense.
Okay. Okay. Oh, so
So and
Charlie's
then yeah,
organizing everything.
yeah, Charlie's basically the head of it.
Good. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Technically, I think
When you
he
showed me the
organized the
picture of
Jets
how
New York
big he
trip.
is, sorry, when you showed me a picture of how big he is, one time he just gonna push down on the pedal one time, and that's like three of yours. So
Yeah, probably.
yeah, because he's a tree, big
Yeah,
dude.
like his bike size is 3 sizes bigger than mine.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. That's why.
Yeah, like I get that they're not like like equal
No,
companies
no,
with
but
size, but like
it didn't
still.
register. It didn't register until you showed me the picture. How much bigger he is? Because like I knew from the when seeing him on like on screen, he looks like a big dude, like he does.
Yeah,
But seeing him beside you, I'm like, damn, that guy's. You said he's 6'5". He's Reacher. He's Jack Reacher. That's who he is. Bald Jack Reacher.
yeah, he's
That's who
basically
he
that
is.
same size,
Yeah,
especially in that photo.
yeah. Fucking
Because like
huge.
he's thinner now than he was in that photo.
Is he because he's more into biking now?
More into biking, just also less into lifting.
Yeah.
Like he's done it for years, and he does it enough to keep his body happy. His body is much happier cycling than lifting heavy.
Oh, yeah. My body's much happier not going crazy in the gym.
Yeah, but problem is when he still likes, if he's going to be in the gym, he would prefer to lift heavier.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. I try, and then I'm like, oh, this hurts. I'm not doing this now. So yeah,
Yeah. Well, I just get to remind myself all the time that heavy is relative,
that is true. That is
because
true.
like I don't lift nearly as heavy as I used to, but I still like the feeling, and like my body does well if I get that little bit of this feels heavy. Okay, I can now go do all my other things.
You know, I agree with that. Like the feeling of heavy
Yeah.
is like especially that right feeling of heavy where it's a sweet spot feels
Mhm.
wonderful. Feels
Yeah,
wonderful.
it's I do well with at least getting that stimulus before doing everything else.
Okay.
And like I just don't get it the same when I'm doing primarily hypertrophy stuff. So
Yeah. No, most of my stuff is rotational stuff just for my hips and whatnot. So the stronger my hips get, I can do more things. Like I shared with you, hack squat is my jam now. Whenever on the hack squat machine, yeah, the one you're leaning back from, yeah,
hack squat's great.
yeah, that's my jam now. That one works. It doesn't aggravate my back or my hips because if I put the bar on my back, everything feels off afterwards. But it used to be okay. It's just one of those things, not a thing anymore. And I don't even go crazy heavy. I'm just trying to do high reps. So like 15 is the minimum for that now. Yeah, but I'm
That's
still not doing
just
super high. I'm doing like 45 on each side. That's it. That's
yeah,
it.
it's great, and like people benefit a lot from the high reps. I
I'm
can't
not seeing
convince
it
myself
from.
to do it for long periods of time. Like I'm like I can do this for a couple weeks, and I need something else.
Oh, I just have to listen to my body. I'm like, you know how like when you have a training program and the program is like you have clear numbers you're trying to hit when you're trying to do
Mhm.
the heavy lifting, powerlifting, and whatnot. My metric is just less pain. So if
Yeah.
week to week or month to month is probably better because week to week I can't tell. Month to month, but it's trending down in pain, but I'm maintaining the reps or adding another set of 15 to the equation, then I'm winning. That's all that matters to me because I'm just building that muscle endurance and whatnot. So
Yeah, I mean it's just a different way of looking at progressive overload. Like it's still gonna
yeah,
work. It's still gonna do it.
yeah. One thing is I suck at tracking things. I don't track things.
Buddy, you
I know,
gotta
I
just
know,
like well,
I
now
know.
just even the notes app in your phone.
I know. You know, here's the thing now. I don't even take my phone to the gym now. The phone stays in the truck or stays at home. I don't even put headphones on now. I
All
just
right, then
work
you
out.
need like a notebook
When I
or
unplug,
something.
I'm gonna have to get a notebook. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go old
They make
school.
the little tiny like pocket ones.
You know, I'll just bring my
One of those
journal.
smells.
That's what I'll do. I'll bring the journal. That's what I'll do. I'll start using this.
Oh, that also works.
Yeah, let's bring that. Be like, why you bring this leather bound journal to them? Why not? So
You're
yeah,
like, because it looks nice.
exactly. There you go. While I wear mismatched gym clothes.
Yeah, you're just doing your thing. It's fine.
Yeah, that's cool. So 100 kilometers second day. Do you know? Wait, no, you said 300. That means you probably have a 4 or 5 day ride.
4 day.
4 day. Okay.
So it's 50, 17 or 120, 78, 117.
You're ending on 117. There you go.
Yeah, well,
Are you riding like to dope, or are you riding back to your house? Like, I'm just going home. I need some food. I want to shower. What are you
so
doing?
I think the plan is we end at the arch like they did last time, but then we still have to ride home from the arch because none of us live right next to the arch.
So, but is the arch like somebody's passing his home to meet the arch and go back?
So depending on the route, we might no, we'd be coming from the north side. Probably not technically. Like it would definitely there's probably somewhere on the route that it'd be faster to just go home, but
Oh, I'm sure there would be 100%. Yeah, you're doing them together. So you stay together. I thought maybe you're ending at a restaurant or a destination with food or something. 9 people. I figured that would be organized a little bit, right? So.
I very much so could be. We still have
Oh,
like a month.
oh yeah. Okay. For some reason, I
Yeah.
thought it was happening sooner than that, but it makes sense with the weather.
Yeah, no, Charlie just sent out the official day one route actually earlier today. So
That's cool. That's getting so organized. That's really fun.
Charlie's great. Charlie's not trying to let us die.
I'm sure. Again, how I just remember at work when we were riding the bikes there, we used to just try to kick each other off bike slip. So I'm just trying to think. You guys are going to be way more responsible than we were on bikes. So
Well, I mean, 3 of them have done it before. A couple of them have miles upon miles of bike riding in their system.
yeah.
Like hundreds of miles. And then there's a couple of us that have never done this before. And I think one dude, his bike gets in, I think it's supposed to be this week. So like
There you go.
he doesn't even have the actual bike he's going to ride yet.
So wait. Okay. What did we talk about last time? You talked about bunny hopping. No. You
Yeah,
talked
Charlie
about-
can bunny hop on his bike.
No. Yeah, but you talked about something else. Oh yeah. How did you word it, or how did I word it? Me and Josh went to ride bikes in the park today because we're grown ups or something like that. You said.
Oh no, you made a joke about like something about like a little bit of like childness or childnessness. And I was like, I mean, don't get me wrong, my buddy and I hopped on bikes and rode around the park today. So
And how old are you and him?
I'm 32 and I think Josh is 34, 35.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
That's
At
funny.
this point, I don't know how many of my friends are.
No, I don't know ages very well either. I always forget. I just assume everybody's around the same age.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm within 5 to 10 years. It's fine.
Yeah, it makes no difference at all.
Yeah.
You're already an old man because your body broke down. So
Oh God. I was actually just talking to a friend about that. Switching to one of our other normal topics, we're
Okay.
talking about solo leveling.
okay,
he
there you
was-
go.
Yeah, he was like, if you awoke, like, would you be happy if you awokened as a hunter? And I was like, I don't know, probably. I guess it would depend on what rank. And then he's like, well, if you did, like, what would you want to be? And I was like, I don't know, fighter or assassin. Those are the two that sound the most fun to me. And he's like, I had that same thought. And then I realized I was 32 and my back and my hip hurt all the time. And maybe I shouldn't do this.
But
I'm
if
like,
you
well-
woke up as an awakened,
Yeah.
right? Then that's a whole different category because then your body's healing, right?
Right?
Yeah,
That's what I
that's a
always
whole
think.
different category. Because even if you read any of these comics or mangas or animes, whatever you watch, even if they're the lowest rank, their injuries that they had when they were not are kind of healed. They just
Yeah.
get injured when they go to the
we just go
fight
find a
the
good
thing
healer.
they fight. Pardon?
Then we also just go find a good healer, and that solves all of our problems.
Or you become a hunter, you just don't go hunt in dungeons. You just live the dope life of no pain and go on adventure in the real world. Because that's what's going to happen. In real life, this doesn't happen what's going to happen. In real life, people are going to get this, and there's going to be people that want to fight. There's going to be like, well, I feel good now. I don't get injured. I don't age as fast. I don't need it. Like, I can sleep under a tree in a hailstorm. I'm fine. They just go on adventures. They'll go live in Bali, right? Go climb Mount Everest in their shorts. That's what's going to happen.
You're telling me that you wouldn't do at least one dungeon?
I'm saying there are people. I'm saying there are people that won't,
All right, that's fair.
right?
I was gonna be like, I feel
I
like
became
everyone
a
could at
buddy.
least go into a dungeon.
I have no powers, and I became a cop. So I'll
Fair enough.
definitely go try something of that. It'll be a little bit, it'll be a little danger, a little fun. So, but yeah, like, but okay. So speaking of that, now, out of which anime, you know more than I do. I kind of just read comics here and there. I don't watch as much as you do. Which universe would you want to be in? Because Solo Leveling is fun to watch, but he is so angry. It doesn't. There's no laughter there. I don't like it. But would I want to be in that world? No.
I mean, I wouldn't want to be him in that world, even though he has all these crazy powers. You're like his.
But they don't show anybody really laughing and having a good time, is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I read the comics, and they're very intense. It's very, but.
Are we saying like you pick this world and you also get kind of the abilities of this world, or am I just a regular person living in this world?
Well, let's talk about both scenarios, okay? Because the thing is, if you're in that world and that world is like always people are dying randomly on dungeon breaks and whatever, and you're just living there, kind of shitty, like, right?
Yeah.
You don't, but
like I'm not picking Kaiju number 8 if I don't get to be the main character.
Yeah.
Like I don't even want to be one of the other people. Like if I'm not the main character, I'm not picking Kaiju number 8.
Yeah. Well,
these giant things to just come up and cause havoc. I'm good.
100%.
Great story. Good.
Yeah, though the one that I like, and you haven't read the manga yet, is the beginning after the end. I like that one because it starts off from childhood where he's reincarnated in another world, and it goes through him. Obviously, trials and tribulations, always gonna be heavy times, but because he's a child, there's still childhood times. There's going to school. There's meeting people. There's falling in love. There's like the whole more dynamic to the story, which makes me enjoy that world a lot more. Right?
Oh, that's fair. That makes sense.
Right? And
isn't that one officially, like, isn't the anime for that one coming out sometime
this year? They said that, and I sent that to you. I have no idea if it's real or not. Somebody could have made that up, right? So, but like that's if I look at the Solo Leveling, I think it's a great show to watch on a Saturday. 100%.
Oh yeah,
I'm a big fan already, but I don't think there's enough humor in it for me and things like that. Like they don't show even the side characters or anything laughing.
Yeah. So, well, you've read it all, so
there's a little more humor, a little more quirks in the story for sure.
Yeah.
But compared to other things,
it seems like everything currently in the anime for it it's building up to
anime
this big
4
raid.
Wait a second, I never heard that term before. Anime 4. Do you say anime 4 or anime lore?
Anime, no, building up in the anime for this raid.
Sorry, I thought you were thinking of anime as a whole. Like, what's the trend going on right now?
No. Sorry,
okay.
Just within the Solo Leveling anime.
Okay.
Everything is building to this Jeju Island raid.
It goes beyond that. You don't even know idea.
What? For sure,
no idea.
Well, no idea. Yeah, but like I'm also aware it's already been approved for up to season 4 or 5.
6.
Is it 6 already?
Yeah. So and they're gonna have like his son going in line with it with another one, Ragnarok or whatever.
They've already decided that they're gonna start doing Ragnarok.
I think they might have a branch off for a movie or something. I don't know. Yeah,
that's fun. But like right now, it's all building towards this island raid, and it kind of at the moment is like these ants are the biggest bad, like worst thing ever. So I'm hoping that like post that we get a little bit more of people being a little happy and like joking around a bit, but like we'll see.
But speaking of that, like old school Dragon Ball Z, there was lots of humor, right?
Oh yeah,
that's again, I like that. If it was to pick a world, it has to have that type of humor, and they had technology there as well. They didn't just show people living in forests, right?
Yeah.
And even though they're doing kung fu or whatever the fuck they're doing, so yeah, like I like the humor side of it because I think they also like anime shows that very well. They do very well with like, especially good anime. They're really good at showing micro features on the face to relay emotion, which you don't get in anything else. So
no, like even in other like Western like cartoons and everything, like they don't do that as well.
Yeah,
and like one of my favorite things I hear about people like talking about like anime art style that like aren't into anime, they're like, well, like why are the eyes always so big? It's like, well, because now you can actually get the more human expressions.
Well, it depends on what anime you go to. Like Cowboy Bebop, they look real. Like they have little smaller eyes. I just think like they're so good at when he's angry. Like every single wrinkle is proper, and it's not just in that scene. When they do a scene down the line, they have it the same. It's like him, right? Mm-hmm. They mastered the micro micro movements, I forget what it's called for the microfacial movements. They mastered drawing that, and it's impressive. So,
yeah, which is wildly impressive.
yeah.
Yeah, it's, out of all the anime that I know, a world that I'd want to live in, it's not Attack on Titan.
Oh no.
Definitely not Attack on Titan.
Hell no. That just looks depressing. Fuck no.
I feel like Full Metal Alchemist could be fun if you got to be an alchemist.
Yeah, that one actually, because like they're still just not, they're just humans.
Yeah, they're just humans that like it's magic, but it's science. Like, yeah, it could be fun.
I haven't watched like every single version of that one, but the ones I watched was really impressive. So
yeah,
even the storyline, because like I think that was the first one where I realized there's deeper storylines in cartoons.
That would make sense. That one starts off like you being like, "Oh yeah, cool, like this is fun," and then real fast you're like,
"Yeah,
what?" And then then it chills out again for a minute, and then all of a sudden it's like, "And gotcha, this is what this kind of show is."
Yeah.
But if I had to just live in the world and didn't get,
I think Dragon Ball Z is where I want to live in that one.
You just want to live in Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah, if I don't want to be
Dragon Ball Z if I can't use powers.
What? No, because like the people that have powers just are fighting all the time, but they actually have like a world of technology, hovering cars. They had things people are going out. Like that'd be a cool place to live in because they actually had like concerts and things like that. They
also recreated the dinosaur, and they're just roaming free. There's a lot of things in that world that are just trying to kill you.
Well, here's the thing. But here's the thing. They recreated it, which means I could ride a dinosaur.
Maybe. Or you could get eaten by a dinosaur.
I think if you're
faster than a dinosaur.
I know, but if I raise it when I was a kid, I'll think of his mom, right? This is my logic here. But yeah, with powers, okay, now let's go with powers. Where would you want to live with powers? I'm trying to think now.
Oh, no, I was saying with powers would be Full Metal Alchemist.
Okay.
Without powers is the one that I'm still stuck on. You know what? I'm just going to use the cop out Bleach. It's just the regular world. It's fine.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
If I don't have powers, I can't even see any of the things that are going on.
Yeah, so you're living in it right now. There you go.
Yeah, we're just living in the Bleach world.
Exactly. No, I think Dragon Ball Z would be, if I had no powers, Dragon Ball Z. If I had powers, I don't think I want to be in Dragon Ball Z, though. I would rather...
You don't want to have, like, Super Saiyan or nothing?
No, honestly. Like...
There's, like, a lot of screaming.
Lots of screaming. And there's episodes of just screaming, right? So...
Oh, yeah.
But when you're a kid, you just loved it because that hyped you up to work out. But I like the more fantasy magic stuff more so. So the dungeon stuff I enjoy, but that's why I like beginning after the end because it's more about magic. So
yeah, that'd be fun.
It's like Star Wars. That's just basically magic.
That's all it is.
That's all it is, right? They make it into their religion and all that. It's just magic. But so yeah, I think it would be beginning after end or something in that realm of just like where there's magic where you have to kind of, because I like the idea. I don't like the idea of having the rank and you're stuck there. I like the idea of having magic, whatever, and you can grow if you put effort.
Yeah, like whatever one I would go in, like I'd want the ability to like I can get better at this.
Yeah, and I don't mean I have to be the peak in the story, but I can get better.
No, I just want I can get better.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like was the interesting part of like the premise of solo leveling. Mm-hmm. It's just, I say was because like it's just not that important anymore. But like at first it was like, oh, like once you're awakened, that's just how you are. Yeah. Which like I get they did that so that then the system could be unique and let him level up.
There's a lot of animes with the system approach, right? The reason why I think solo leveling is actually really good as well because of why he wants to get powerful, because he wants to save his mom. Like save his family. Because like a lot of other ones, they just get powerful. Sorry?
I said spoiler for everyone that's not caught up. It's season 2 and it's already happened.
Yeah.
Like now so like that's the other weird part in like solo leveling right now. It's like they're building up to this raid that he's not technically a part of, which it's set up super easy for him to get there. I get that part.
Yeah.
But like
he kind of he's so powerful, he wants.
Yeah, but also, like, how are you going to motivate him? Like, is it just going to be like someone almost dies every time, so he just keeps popping back in?
You just wait. There's a motivation. And you know what? It's based on family again. Ooh.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I have access to reading it all after this season,
I
and
think you should just start right now. Just start right
I
now.
still haven't decided if I'm going to do it.
Just start reading it.
Like, it's nice when I get to have a show that like I'm not also reading it, because like JJK,
Yeah.
loved it. I never intended on reading all of JJK.
Okay.
I was
I
like,
haven't read it.
I'm just going to watch it. I accidentally spoiled a moment for myself because I was looking up something to talk to a friend.
Yeah.
I spoiled a big moment, and I was like, I guess I got to read it now. And
Well,
I
the thing
literally
is-
started from the end of season 2 on.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden I'm caught up, and I'm like, all right, cool. I guess I'm reading this weekly. Let's have fun.
The only thing
I enjoy.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it. I just wasn't planning on doing it.
Yeah. For me, I realized I like reading the ones that are actually in color. I only found JJK in black and white, right?
I don't think it's colorized yet.
Yeah. So I only like reading if it's in color. If it's not in color, I lose steam right away. Solo Leveling is a webtoon, so it's completely colored the whole time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I want to say Bleach. I've read some of it colored.
Yeah.
And it is, I like his art style to begin with, but it is another level when it's colored.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay. Problem is, I don't think it's been like legitimately translated yet.
Oh, so these are just other people translating right now.
Yeah, it's like all like fan translations, which like, you know, some of them are really good. Like,
some of them are better than
the
real.
Understand how that's not their job.
Yeah. They're obviously getting paid to do it because they don't just do it for free, right? So I think they get paid by donations, I'm guessing, right? So
yeah, because I don't actually know how that one works, but
I gotta blow my nose. Spirit back. All right, that's much better. Having trouble breathing.
Is that your cat that I just heard?
Yeah, my cat was just meowing there. She's a noisy one. She always likes attention. She always wants food too, even though she just likes food in her bowl. She'll nibble and leave it anyway. So
yeah, it's funny how some cats are like that.
My cat doesn't
like, I don't want to see the bottom of my bowl.
Yeah, but she doesn't
versus
overeat.
Like most dogs I know, if I did that, like they would be so overweight because they would just keep consuming.
I'm trying to remember if my dog on the farm would be overweight.
Well, I mean, if they're on the farm, they're also running around on a farm.
No, but like, I don't think she ever finished her bowl. We had a German Shepherd, and she would eat, but she'd always stop. So, yeah. And then we would always leave the food because if she wanted to have a snack later on, because we'd never want her to be hungry. So,
yeah.
But she roamed around pretty free.
With my lab growing up, if we left food in the bowl, she would just keep eating. Like, I know for a fact. Well, she was also a hunting dog, so like we tried to have her be very scheduled on eating at night.
Oh, do you guys go in?
Yeah, I used to go duck hunting with my stepdad.
Nice.
Yeah, it was great.
I've never been hunting, so.
Ever?
No, not a thing that, like, just not, like, the thing from...
Not a thing in your part of Canada, or not a thing in...
No, just like in, I guess, a lot of the Indian community here. I'm sure back in India, when people live in the villages, I'm sure they hunt. Like, it's just not something that I grew up around, so, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I was exposed to it from my stepdad, so...
Yeah? Were you good?
It was huh?
Were you good?
I mean, if things were flying, we were pretty good.
So, because when they're flying, are you just blindly shooting, or you can actually, like, hit the target that you're trying to hit?
You're aiming for a specific target.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Well, like, for the most part, if, like, a group of birds is flying, you're aiming in front.
Yes, because...
You might hit the second one, but, like...
Yeah.
Because it is a shotgun also.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. My friend told me this a while ago. Is it buckshot, or is it not a buckshot?
No, it's birdshot.
Birdshot is the pellets, right?
Yeah, just smaller BBs.
Okay, all right. And does that affect, not like a big animal, but if they get peppered with that, does that affect what you can eat or what you can't eat?
Kind of. You just kind of have to like feel and like make sure you get all the BBs out.
Okay. I know in a big animal, like, again, this is somebody that was into hunting would tell me, like, if you want to shoot them not in the intestines, because then everything, all the shit kind of goes in the meat, right? But in the bird, it's a lot smaller with buckshot.
Yeah, I was saying that, and like typically if you hit them intestines, they can run a bit. So then it's also just creating more damage and like more.
Yeah, and maybe they'll run off and heal, but it might be, you never know, right? So
yeah.
How does duck taste?
If you're hitting a duck, which is yay big, with a shotgun which shoots about yay big of a circle, yeah, the bird isn't typically going to survive unless you wing it.
No, not at all. I only had duck, I think, twice in my life, or 3 times, and Duck Schnitzel. That's what it was. So good. Duck Schnitzel.
Yeah, duck is surprisingly good.
Yeah. One time I had it like breaded, or a couple times I had it breaded, and the first time I had it wasn't breaded. And since I don't eat much like beef or anything, I was so shocked by how dark it was. So
Oh yeah, it's super dark.
yeah, it's
Like
basically
it's
a red
not
meat,
like
right?
chicken at all.
No.
Even a
It's
farm duck's not like chicken.
even what?
Even like a farm duck,
I never even thought about that.
yeah, even they're still not like big white breasts like chickens.
So you don't go hunting anymore?
No, I stopped probably after my freshman year. Yeah, just wrestling season was the same time as duck season, and when you're having a wrestling tournament basically every weekend, and you go hunting on the weekend,
Yeah.
kind of eats into it.
Yeah. That makes sense. So you're wrestling. I knew about the powerlifting. I didn't know about the wrestling.
Oh yeah, that was like my main sport, like growing up. Of that, like this is the one I like and I'm good at.
Yeah, I'll be honest. There was only like basketball, football, soccer. There was not like wrestling or weightlifting in my school or any of that stuff. I wish there was, because I would have gravitated toward weightlifting right away. But yeah, in basketball I enjoyed, but I really enjoyed weightlifting. I took the same weightlifting course for the last 3 years. Just had I bookend my day, and it was just weightlifting, and then I think the last 2 years,
Like, hey, this is my gym time.
yeah, and I just like don't need to stack everything. I'm going to stay the full time in high school, so I just ended in working out, and they knew I signed up for the same thing. They knew, they didn't give a shit. So yeah,
They're like, okay, I guess you can come again.
I hated the cardio part. They made you run. I did not like it.
Yeah, well,
I was just never good at it. Like, well, I was not good at distance running. I was good at sprinting. That's all. So,
didn't you have to distance run for academy stuff?
yeah, I got up to like I used to be able to run 5K at any point, but I can't do any of that shit now. I'm trying to get up to just 1K at any point right now. So yeah, not even a mile, 1K.
You gotta that's like what, half a mile? A little less than half a mile?
I actually have no idea.
Well, 5K is 3.2.
How many?
None of this math is helping me at all.
Let's see. 1 kilometer is 0.62 miles.
Oh, okay, so a little over half a mile.
Yeah. So, but I used to be able to run, and I think 3 miles is a 3 miles is 5K, or around 3 miles.
Yeah, it's 3.2.
3.1 is 5K.
Oh.
Yeah.
I always thought it was 3.2.
Yeah. Well, no, 3.10686 is what it says. So, but
Okay, so either people round up or I'm adding the 2 from a kilo.
yeah. But I used to be able to like, because I had the approach of fitness minimums, where I'm like, I want to be able to do this many pull-ups. I want to be able to run at any point for this long.
Mm-hmm.
I should be able to. The simple thing they say for like weightlifting: bench your weight, deadlift, or is it squat twice, deadlift 3 times?
Well, the basic one is bench your body weight, 1.5 times squat, double body weight.
That's the one, yeah. So I'm like, I should just be able to do these basic things. So that was how I built a lot of my foundation for fitness. And then running for me was I want to be able to run 5K. So I was able to. I would hate my body, would hate it, but at any point, if I wanted to, I could actually run 5K.
Yeah, I mean, if you can pull that off, you're probably better than the American average, which
I think the Canadian average is not the best either.
yeah,
so.
I was like, I don't know if the Canadian average is much different.
I think the world average is probably like people that work out is such a small percent. Like work out as we do now in the modern sense is such a small percentage of the world that, yeah, I think even in the gym community or in the workup community, it's still pretty small, right? So because people have to focus on one thing, right? So
yeah, they typically focus on the thing they either enjoy more or think will make them happier.
Or again, like for work, if it was a specific thing, you have to be good for work. Right?
Yeah,
so,
same. Yeah.
Or yeah, if you're in sports and whatever it is, yeah.
Yeah. It's always funny to me how many like fitness companies will be like, you need to be better than average, or they're like, fuck average. And it's like, are we talking the average higher level gym person? Are we talking about the average gym goer? Are we talking about the American average? Because those are could be 3 very different things. Like,
and also
American
remember,
average,
like,
you go to the gym a couple times a week, you're already better than the average.
100%. And like, if you think about that, what if you want to be the top 1% in the world financially? It's $35K a year or something like that.
Is it
USD.
really?
Yeah. Everything is like if you had the same income you have now, in the state somewhere else, you're living top 1%. All right, like technically in the whole world, you're top 1%. I think over 35 or 36.
That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a weird perspective thing.
Yeah, like that. But I'm excited for when you start traveling. That's why I asked you by text or last time on this thing. Have you traveled anywhere? Right. Once you get to see other places, it's so cool. Especially if you go there and you like, if you go there and you actually see the other place, you don't like, oh, I go to bars and restaurants here. I'm going to go to bars and restaurants there. You see a very small.
Oh
small
no, if I
thing
go
of it.
somewhere, I want to like see like daily life type things, not.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I'm both. So I'm like, I want to see a nice restaurant. I want to see a nice bar, but I also want to see
Oh, right,
like a coffee
I'm
shop.
gonna enjoy some good food. Like
Yeah.
last
So
time we talked, like Japan is creeping up on the list of like somewhere like higher priority of somewhere I want to go.
oh, really?
I'm gonna eat so much food. Like, don't get me wrong.
When we were talking about the street food culture, yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's why we were talking. I was like, I don't know why
Yeah.
we were talking about it.
Yeah, the street food culture. Because after that, I wasn't looking at Japan. I was looking at close to Japan, like not Philippines, Indonesia. Yeah.
Okay.
I was looking there because they have street food culture too. I'm like, oh, that'd be so fun having that kind of food all day. Again, I'll send you the YouTube channel I'm watching. It's called Sorted Foods. It's like four or five buddies from the UK that just started like recording and recipes and putting it online and whatever. And they've been doing it for 20 years now. That's what they do.
Oh wow. Okay.
And they are buddies. They make fun of each other. They joke around. They give each other, and the whole thing is just cooking channels, or sorry, not channels, cooking challenges. So they might give a mystery box. They'll give you 3 or 4 tins with the cover, like the things ripped off of it. And two of the guys, or one of the guys is a chef. I think another guy that came on is a chef, and like they'll do chef against normal battles for food. It's so fun to watch, and it's gotten me like again. They even have things where they introduce how they cook and they explain stuff because like some of the guys are normal, they explain it very bare bones, and it's gotten me actually to remember to do certain things in order when I cook now. So I'm liking it. So, but you got to watch it. I think you'll enjoy it a lot. It's a good thing to put on the background.
Definitely send me that.
Yeah, because they're like 15-minute shows, like or sometimes 20 minutes. It's like watching something and they're because they're friends. They make fun of each other. It's good.
Oh, that sounds excellent.
Yeah. And it's crazy some of the stuff they cook because they cook all different types of fishes and stuff, which I don't ever cook fish. And they get like a.
Fish, or... You just not like fish, or
I like fish and sushi. I just never grew up with it because my parents are from Punjab area, and we didn't have fish much very often. So
I guess that is like as landlocked,
right?
Could be, isn't it?
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. Like they have fried fish and things like that, like everywhere does. It's just not something that I grew up with mainly, right?
Yeah,
because they do fish curries in like the more coastal areas for sure.
So that's why I asked because like I've heard of like fish curries.
Yeah,
but that said, that's the only fish thing I've ever heard for Indian food.
Well, again, they'll say fish curry, but then it depends on what type of fish. There's so many types of fish, right?
Yeah.
So fish is very general. It's like so. I couldn't tell you. Like it's for me, it's like when I hear people say fish and chips, I just assume it's all the same fish, right? So I don't know either.
I mean, technically, I think fish and chips is typically just cod.
Oh, see, I thought it was.
Like, I think it's a glorified fish stick.
Yeah, delicious, right?
If you say so. I don't like fish sticks.
Well, if you have like fish and chips, not fish sticks, then you have the tartar sauce and the fries. Once in a blue moon, it's fantastic. Yeah, it's one of those things that because I have it so minimal that when I have those things, it's a treat to me, right? So it's like onion rings.
That's a good way of using it.
Yeah, it's like onion rings. I like onion rings only when I go out in the blue moon when I get it. Otherwise, I'll never make it at home.
Have you ever tried making them at home?
From scratch? No. I got the prepackaged ones.
Biggest mistake of my life.
You tried making it home? What did you make?
Yeah,
onion rings or a blooming onion? Did you make
onion rings? I was not willing to risk a blooming onion. That looks way too much.
Well, you'll find this funny. The first time I had a blooming onion was in my 30s. I didn't even know it was a thing. Right? The first time I had funnel cake was like my late 20s. I didn't know it was...
Really?
Yeah. I grew up in the countryside where there's fairgrounds and everything, and they had fairs. I've never had it.
Not have a fair?
No. Every year I actually volunteered at the fair. Every year. I've never had a funnel cake until my like late 20s. And then
Like, did you know what they were and you just never had one, or like, did you
I
not ever
heard about them,
actually?
and I actually didn't know how it looked like.
Okay.
All right. So I
Interesting.
knew the elephant ears or whatever they call them, beaver tails in Canada, elephant ears in the States, I guess.
What is an elephant ear?
It's like a fried dough with sugar on it. I have no flat,
Okay.
but they have it at fairgrounds.
All
I
right.
could,
This
yeah.
one I don't know.
Yeah. It's one of those things that I've seen it. I don't think I've had it, to be honest. So yeah, just one of
I
those
feel
things.
like
Like I never even had the drive to have it because like, it was like, I heard about it. I'm like, I don't really, I'm not craving anything because I've never had it like growing up. So I had nothing to relate it to. So I'm like, cool. I'm going to go get it. Like, what I like was I like more savory, like the pogos, right?
okay.
What are they called? Pogos? Corn dogs.
Funny enough, I knew that one is both.
There you go.
No idea why I knew that. I was like, oh, it's a corn dog. Okay.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
like my
pogo
mom always
bean
liked
range.
funnel
Yeah.
cakes, so like
Yeah.
I knew about them growing up. We went to
Did you make it at home too?
I've never tried. I think my mom did when she was younger.
Okay.
It's relatively simple. It's basically just pancake batter,
Yeah.
put it like squirt it into hot oil.
Yeah, and that's what I was told people make it at home all the time as well. I'm like, that's a lot of effort for a lot of sugar. But then again, like
Oh.
here's the thing. I'll say that as a joke, but then if I look back on the Indian food I had, we would have gulab jamun, we'd have jalebi. There's all these Indian desserts that I would grow up having those things. Like Indian ice cream is called kulfi, and it's made different. It's a little more dense, but the flavor, I love the flavor. If you can find kulfi ice cream where you're at, try it.
I will be willing to look for that because I like ice cream.
Okay. You know what? I actually bought some, and they make it kind of like a hybrid Indian style with the ice cream style here. So it's a little more
Okay.
scoopable. I'll take a picture of that and see if I can find that one. So,
Oh, sweet. All right.
or that flavor anyway. So,
I feel like since we're talking about fairs,
Mhm.
if you want to see the worst possible version of what the American diet looks like to probably the outside world, just go look at fair food. Like the
But that's
giant
like-
turkey legs, the donut cheeseburgers.
yeah, but the thing is, like, that's like a microcosm, right? That's not the real world, right? Please tell me that's not the real
It's
world of
not.
the U.S. That's what I thought, right? So,
Well, I don't think it is.
yeah, because like anybody I know, like most people I know, eat very healthy. So I don't know many people where their diet is mainly fried food, or
Yeah.
where their diet is this, where they say that like the American diet's so bad and everything like that. Like,
I mean, I've definitely had clients where before working together, they ate fast food 2 to 3 times a week, or
yeah, but
the most extreme 2 to 3 times a day.
see, the 2 3 I think is wild. 2 3 times a week, I don't think is that wild, to be honest.
When it was like 2 to 3 cheeseburgers, a thing of fries,
Okay.
and a milkshake each time. We're not
Okay,
talking like they had like Chipotle one day, they had a
Yeah.
burger. It
See,
was like,
that's what I'm thinking, right?
yeah.
So my question is, because I always find these conversations interesting, when you had the client that ate the 3 cheeseburgers and the milkshake and everything in one sitting, why or how did they get there? Did they explain that, or did you figure it out through conversation how they got there, why they thought this was healthy, why they thought it was normal? Because like even if people eat these foods, people with social media, with your cell phone, you're not unaware of what is considered healthy, right?
Yeah. So none of them thought it was healthy. Like, we'll just
so
start there. Like, it was convenience.
was it convenience, or was it like, did it make them feel a certain way, or was it like, because like I
Most
remember
of the time
reading,
it starts with convenience, and then it builds into something else. Like, once it becomes like, oh, this is what I do.
Yeah.
Once there's like that little bit of, there's a slight like identifying with it.
Yeah.
Now that's when it's like, okay, cool. This is gonna take a little bit of work to fix.
okay, so because of work, I would always get exposed to people at their worst a lot of times, right? So because of that, I think my point of view is skewed, and I don't like to go by it. You're going to clients that come to you for help, and then reading books in psychology and different things like that. I will have to find the psychologist I was reading, but they explain that just about 100% of people that have had physical abuse or sexual abuse have an eating disorder, whether it's starving or eating too much.
Oh, that's interesting.
And some type of abuse or something like, I'll try to find exactly what he said, but from my recollection, it was more to do with physical abuse, not just emotional. Because like, let's say sexual assault from a step parent or something like that, they would eat so much to make them unattractive, right? Things like this, which might be a subconscious thing, but they were doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Did you find in your conversations with your clients that there was something heavier in the back end sometimes?
Every once in a while, but like I said, most of the time it literally came down to it started as a habit of convenience,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just became like a part of what they did.
Yeah.
The couple people that were like, it was heavier things. It was like, hey, this is now beyond how I can help you. You should go back to talking to your therapist also.
Yeah, but again, I think a lot of therapists is like just like a lot of people, because of the isolation of like social media and just being online all the time, like we're using this, we're having a good conversation. But a lot of people don't use it like this, and I'm recording it now too because I was having so much fun having these conversations with people that I'm meeting remotely. A lot of people, because they isolate or because of social media makes them think they're supposed to be a certain way or whatever, they hold a lot of things in. When you pay somebody, it gives you the like there's a transaction here. Because there's a transaction, it gives you a safe space to just say whatever the hell you want to say. Where sometimes you don't have a friend group where you're allowed to say what you want to say. So I
I
just think
think
like
you should go find some better friends.
totally. But here's the thing: it's easier said than done for people that have social anxiety and things like that, right?
For sure.
So, like, because they're exchanging money with you for training, you become that safe space, just like a therapist does.
Oh, for
Therapists, though, their governing body might make it that they can't say certain things, can't push people a certain way. They're trying to really guide people to come to their own conclusions.
sure.
Where you're a coach, you'd be like, "Yeah, how about we just not do that?"
Well,
right? So,
oh,
so
I've made the joke for years that like if you can survive being a coach for at least 5 years, you should have an honorary therapist degree.
yeah, well, it's, so the therapist makes sense, but psychologist, that's like separate thing. So therapist, totally honorary. That
Yeah,
makes
no,
total.
that's why I'm like, don't give me the not say the
No,
crazy one.
I was
Just
trying to
like,
think in my head. That's why I was trying to just make sure I was on the same page. But yeah, I agree 100%. I agree 100% because I'm trying to remember who it was. It's gonna bother me now. I'll find the psychologist, send it to you afterwards. It's I think he's a Canadian psychologist. He's very soft spoken and just an interesting point of view. Again, I don't know if it's true or not because, like, again, he's a psychologist, a clinical psychologist. When
mhm.
people come to him for help, a lot of them are also coming in the worst of their scenarios for. So maybe his point of view is skewed as well from what he's seen, right? Like
Yeah.
that's why I said at work I get to see the worst of worst. So maybe my point of view is skewed. So I don't like to go by that. You have people coming to you just for training, so I think it might be more balanced.
Yeah, and like I don't typically see them at the worst of the worst because they've already made the decision I need to change and I need help changing.
Yeah, but they're also they want to change, and it not necessarily is because of something negative. It's
Yeah.
just habits, like you said.
Yeah.
Where my experience is they're calling 911 and they're like mental health act or something else. There's already something underlying, or you're not calling 911 just to say hi, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Or
so
at least you
that's
shouldn't be.
you shouldn't be. You should. You know what? Sometimes there's like a young kid or something that's really just lost it. Sometimes it happens. No big deal. But no, honestly, like those times are also a lot of fun because then you get to talk to a kid and just like make a positive impression too, right? So
Yeah.
not you're running in the. But yeah, it's just interesting because like I like hearing that because when I first read that, it reflected in what worked, so it made sense in my echo chamber. But I'm
Mhm.
like, that can't be everybody, right? Like they made it sound like a very high percentage that was almost an absolute.
Yeah.
Because like
I mean, I
I like
rarely think
cake. I'll be
absolutes
honest, I
really
like
work.
cake. Sorry,
I
I was
said I
gonna say
also sorry.
you go ahead this time.
I also feel like absolutes almost are never like an absolute. Like,
Yeah.
but unless you're going to be like everyone on the planet will die. Other than that, there's not a whole lot of other absolutes in this world.
Again, now with AI technology, we don't know. What's your
Oh,
definition of death? If you put a lot of content online that's always online and always hosted for years to come, and the human civilization lives to thousands and thousands and thousands of years, are you dead now?
yes.
But that means that your definition, are you
I
dead
mean, we're gonna
biologically?
change
Yeah,
it. We're gonna fall back into the religious conversation.
that's true. But take religion out of it for a second. Take religion out of it for a second.
I don't know if
Biologically, you're
I
dead.
can in this sense because, like,
Okay.
Are you your body or are you your soul?
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that, let's say religion is there, and for me, it's reincarnation. So I die, I get reincarnated. But what I'm saying is, Boo is putting this on there with you online. There is you still sharing a story, a part of you that exists after you're gone, right? And your soul can still go and do whatever with your religion, whatever your beliefs are, whatever. But this is like technology. So this is religion, this technology. I'm saying, like, what's your definition? Your definition is biologically dead. Yes, you're dead. But
Yeah.
if you're talking about conscious or sharing knowledge, and your knowledge is shared through here, or your personality is shared through this medium that exists, let's say the human race expands multi-planetary and we live
So
forever.
if that's true, no author is dead.
I agree.
Okay.
But,
All
well,
right.
because like that's a way to connect to them, right? Like books are a way to connect, to have conversations with people that are not here anymore, or that you may not have access to.
Interesting.
You never
I
thought of
can't
that?
say I've ever put thought into it, but like right now, like my brain's just spinning on like,
What's
yes, if
funny?
we're changing the definition to if your ideas are still being shared and expressed, that version of you stays alive. Interesting.
Well, think about why I wanted to start recording these conversations with you and other people that I'm like we've had these conversations quite a bit by text. I wanted to record them because I'm like, I don't care about this blowing up and becoming a big thing, but it would be cool for posterity that, like, say we stop doing this 5 years from now, 10 years from, or whatever, and then I'm 80. I'm like, oh, let me look back on my conversation with Sean and then have a good laugh or whatever, right?
See what these two dumbasses are talking about.
Exactly. And we're both obviously not that version anymore, but now I'm posting on here, or I mean, I'm using this to post it on Substack, goes to my YouTube, figuring out how to put clips on Instagram, and then I can go back and review it. And it's like, it's the modern way of having a photo album for me. That's
Yeah.
all it is. Right. But in that line of thinking, like my psychologist said, like, uh, do you always talk to a lot? I'm like, yeah, I talk to a lot of people, but I also read a lot, because if I want to look for an answer and I don't have an expert around me, I'm looking for talking to the expert through a book,
Yeah.
right? And that's my way to have a conversation with an expert, or listen to an expert, and then I can think about it, and makes me like look at opposing thoughts. And this is how I have a conversation come to a. So I do believe that, like, I think how you said it first sounded better, but I forget how you said it.
I mean, that said, you actually kind of nailed how I tell people I feel about like reading the Bible,
Okay, there you go.
because it's kind of a conversation with like their time, what they were going through, their lessons, especially when it's like, well, here's this thing that kind of lines up with what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do this because this makes sense to me right now, but this is
Mm-hmm.
telling me we tried that. This is how it works. And then making the decision of, am I going to follow myself or am I going to do what I'm being told? 9 times out of 10, doing what I'm being told works out better.
Well, okay. So again, I don't read my religious scriptures that much, more or less than I kind of go to.
You guys have religious scriptures?
Yeah, we have the Bhagavad Gita, the Ramayana, the Mahabharata. There are a bunch of big scriptures as well.
Okay.
I grew up, like I
Last time we
said,
talked, it made it sound like it was a dumbing it down.
it's always a collection. It's always a collection of stories.
Yeah. It's almost sounded like a collection of stories versus like, here's a bound, this is X,
No,
Y, and Z.
there's actually bound books as well, for sure. But
Okay.
I also, it's in another language. The translations might not be like, I wasn't exposed in that regard. I got exposed through modern visual interpretation, so I could learn the religion and stuff. Go to my temple where we talked about it more than read, kind of thing.
Okay.
Right. So that's how my exposure was. And I actually have a bunch of things that I paid for that I need to go through so I could better understand certain things, because like I love the story. So I'm hoping there's more stories there. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I just haven't put effort to make it part of my day yet. I need to do that because I just enjoy the stories. Like I enjoy them just as much as reading about Greek mythology, right? Like I like these things. But, what were you saying? You said you read the book. Oh yeah. So when you read the Bible, 9 times out of 10, following what was there, you're like, oh, this is good. So I look at that as the saying. I think it's a saying or a quote or an idiom where people say, if you keep on making the same mistake over and over again, you're not learning from it. If you learn from your mistakes, that's good. If you learn from other people's mistakes, that's even better. If you learn from people telling you a story and there's a lesson there, it's not even real, then you don't make the mistake, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like all these books, whatever religion, whatever beliefs, let's say it's Harry Potter, okay? Because Harry Potter is based on the Bible structure, if I'm not mistaken. People compare it a lot. I would watch this one YouTube thing where they go into detail about how they explain that and also how to
I've never seen a video like that.
I'll try to find it. And it's very, I don't know the Bible enough to know if it's true or not, but it was very interesting to me. So, but it's one of those things that like, it shows like your intelligence if you can learn from other people's mistakes. So if the story explains something really well, it helps you not step on a landmine. That's pretty good. But the one thing that's also good to keep in mind, like you said, it's a different time. So sometimes things don't translate perfectly, right? So then you might have to take a little risk.
I used to joke that I would never get a Bible verse tattooed just because
Which one did you get?
I don't have it yet.
Okay.
But there's one in Leviticus that is about not getting tattooed. And it's one of the most, in my opinion, one of the most like misrepresented Bible verses.
Okay.
Because tattooing to them and tattooing to now are so drastically different that it shouldn't be the same word.
Can you explain?
Basically, it's saying don't mark your body for the dead. Like, don't incense burn, don't mark with incense, and like, don't cut. Like, it was all of that stuff.
Incense burn is a new term for me. They actually incense and burn themselves?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Like,
because like
branding.
Basically branding, yeah.
Okay.
But or they could also like do something like a design wise with it. Supposedly, from what I heard, if you leave the incense there long enough, it'll change the color of the skin right there as well.
Interesting.
So they're talking about
now
that.
I want to get that done. I'm just letting you know. I want to figure this out. So, okay, go on.
So it's more talking about that, not tattoos like we do now.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's going to be in this arm when I make it back to San Diego. My friend's going to finish my arm, and then we're going to put it like right here.
Okay. What's the quote?
It's just going to say.
Make you pull it up.
Well, so it's just the quote isn't the part that matters because it's going to be Leviticus verse and number.
Okay, gotcha. So the only you would know. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I want to know the quote though now.
So it's Leviticus 19:28.
Okay.
You shall not make gashes in your flesh for the dead or incise any marks upon yourself.
So gashes for the dead means like a memorial tattoo.
Like, I mean, technically you could look at it like that, but like when they're talking gashes, they're talking like cutting yourself, like actually like carving something into your skin.
But they're saying for the dead.
Yeah. This is specifically in reference to of the dead.
Okay, so would my interpretation be correct then or not correct?
It wouldn't be completely wrong.
Okay.
Like it is a logical jump that like people still do make that have tattoos. They're like, oh, I just don't get them for the dead.
Got it.
No, but also a lot of the Levitican laws are technically, they're not as valid as they were when they were written post Jesus and like his crucifixion and everything. He wiped away some of those laws. These were part of the laws of how to be good and make it into heaven.
Okay.
With his sacrifice and everything, it kind of wiped those out.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of the older Levitican laws were also like you can't wear two different fabrics, basically. Like if I was wearing a cotton shirt, I can't wear not cotton pants.
Wool.
Yeah, there we go.
So I remember reading somewhere, somebody was bringing this up again, that there's something to do with how your body's energy reacts having two different fabrics. They both cancel each other out kind of thing. It was very interesting because somebody was going down the rabbit hole of that. But in India, there's a lot of tribal tattoos, and they have like women, you would have tattoos across their chest. They would have face tattoos. They would do all that kind of stuff. So I actually want to find like the old Indian designs and see what it is, and get like, I want to get something. I don't know if I want to get like on my hand or something that's like down here kind of thing. I don't know, but yeah, like I've looked at them for years. There's just so many different styles that I'm not sure which one, because like, old school tattoos were like thick lines, right? So I want a little bit more dainty, fine line kind of stuff. So yeah, that's cool. So that's gonna be your next one. Are you gonna get the whole sleeve like wrap around?
That'll be whenever I go back and finish my arm, because it's going to be all done by the same friend that did this one.
Mm-hmm.
But that means I have to go to San Diego to do it.
There you go. He's not gonna make the trip.
I mean, she's got a husband and kids, and it would be a big hassle. And like, she's a good friend. Her husband's a really good friend. Like,
Yeah. You gotta come over. All the family come over.
yeah,
And
it's
you
like,
like
have
you
everyone come over.
just have everybody come over. You're like, you're just doing tattoos now. You're gonna set up a shop, set up a spot at Dope, and then get them to do tattoos for everybody. There you
I
go.
mean, technically, I've been tattooed at Dope, so it wouldn't be the
Oh,
first.
there you go.
Yeah, we did one of the Friday the 13th that we were out here.
What is that?
It's a little hatchet. I don't know how to turn my arm to show you properly. Yeah. It was like a Friday the 13th when we did one of our meetups out here. And like, because
I
it's Friday the 13th,
I enjoy getting
they're like-
random tattoos. Just going like when just randomly get a tattoo. I enjoy that.
it was, I think there was like 10 different ones we could pick from. And
Mm.
of the group that all got tattooed, I think it was like 95% of us ended up with a hatchet. So we're like, oh, cool. Now we look like a cult.
Let's be honest. You guys are already a cult. Don't lie. I don't know.
Mhm.
I think I'm a hanger-out.
Listen, when you sleep with this, you're going to end up with a hatchet somewhere on your body. You're just doing your sleep. You won't even know.
You won't even know. Like, why is it so itchy? What mosquitoes are these? So, but yeah, no, I enjoy getting random tattoo. This arm is just basically a story arm. So this arm is what I decide when I go places. I just add things to it as I go.
Oh,
I have there's no plan for this arm. It's just like when I go, I pick something or I get the tattoo artist. I'm like, just design something, just no dicks, and we're good to go. So, yeah. So, yeah, this one I like this one I got when I went to Costa Rica this year or last year.
Oh,
This
nice.
one really filled the arm in and made it all connect. So,
Yeah, that's the plan with this one is it's going to be like pieces that like tie back to like important people in my life. But it also means it's going to take a while to actually fill because I have to like figure out the piece and then figure out where it's going to fit.
shouldn't be that hard.
You'd be surprised. Sometimes
Do
like
you,
ideas
do
go
you
back-
want it to do you want the tattoo itself to represent the person, or do you want just your thing
So-
for your arm? Like, this is for you.
It will be, I guess there's a little bit more of a caveat. It'll be some nerdy-ish thing because welcome to my life.
Yeah.
That like the piece itself won't represent the person, but
Yeah.
where from represents the person. Like this is from Kingdom Hearts, which is one of mine and one of my best friend's favorite video game franchises.
Yep.
This is, do you know the show Doctor Who?
Yeah. I don't
So
remember
this
that
is-
live from the show though.
No, but the language it's Doctor Who's home language.
Oh, got
it's
it. What did it
still
say?
With great power comes great responsibility. It's from my dad. Because
Oh,
he
so
got me into
Spider-Man.
basically everything nerdy.
Spider-Man.
Yeah. So to be like a weird nerdy sleeve.
No, but again, I know that I'm just thinking, no, but for that one, I got to stop there right there. That's really cool because it's Doctor Who. I'm guessing that saying is in the show Doctor Who as well.
No,
So you just did that and you put the Spider-Man quote there.
I found a Doctor Who translator
Even
that would
better.
translate what I wanted into his language.
That's even better.
It
That's
was,
like the people that are obsessed with Star
bunch of
Trek
pain
and
in the
Klingon. Pardon?
oh yeah, it was
Yeah.
a pain in the butt. But like, yes, it's the same thing as like, you can learn Klingon if you want to.
Klingon is actually a real language.
Yeah.
That was, I did not know they had it has its own grammar. It has everything. They went wild with that one. They have
Yeah.
its own language.
Supposedly it was inspired by Tolkien with the whole Elvish thing.
I guess that's its own language too, isn't it?
Yep.
I forgot about that.
Yep. It was
It's
super
wild
weird.
when
Like,
people go right into it.
yeah, it's weird. I don't have a better word than weird. It's weird to like that there's people that are that creative that like I can make a language and then they make a language that actually works.
Yeah. But
Like it's like, oh, okay.
no, but the thing is that language that they create, it relates to like English or something else. It's not like its own language as it has its own verbs, right? So it's not like fully its own language. It's just like a different script for English.
Yeah, it's basically an English like a different alphabet, but still like to even create a different alphabet is
Totally. But
insane.
I think Klingon, they have merged multiple languages from from the world, and they've made it into that tongue, which I thought was very interesting.
Oh, wow,
That's what
okay.
I read. Like one thing about going on a little tangent here. One thing about AI I'm really excited about is there is a language from ancient India that does not have a Rosetta Stone. So they haven't found anything that translates to part of another language to figure out backwards what it is. I am
Oh
so
wow, okay.
curious. I'll try to find that and send it to you later today.
What was I
I'm
say? Because
so
I know there's
curious.
a couple of those also within like the Middle East region.
So I think there's a dead language that is like Aramaic or something like that from that area, I think.
Yes, but they can tie that to like a couple of the other language, so they can kind of get that
Okay.
one. There's like
Okay.
Sumerian and one other one.
Sorry, that's
Oh,
the
that's
one.
the one.
Sumerian. Yeah.
Okay,
I think
yeah, like
that's it.
Sumerian, like it's not tied to
Yeah.
anything else in the era or the region, and they're just like,
Yeah.
we'll kind of figure it out.
Yeah. And I think there's one from what I was reading, they say there's one from old, like ancient India, where they have basically mud bricks, proper structures and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious if AI can analyze that and find some commonalities to make a translation out of it.
Oh, that'd be
Because
interesting.
every like Japanese, Hindi, English, there's certain things that can't translate back and forth very well. But with
Mm-hmm.
AI being able to put all the languages into its system and then figure it out, maybe there's like, okay, this part like we can make it English, but this part makes more sense in Japanese, and the Japanese can be translated to back to English now, or whatever,
Okay.
right? So I'm really curious about how AI does that kind of stuff, because they already have AI like finding breast cancer and things like that, right? So that's very
Yeah,
interesting.
like AI is going to continue becoming a bigger and bigger thing. Like
Yeah.
that's not getting put back in the box.
No, I hope it doesn't, to be honest.
Yeah. I find
I've
it
been
interesting that a lot of people in the fitness industry are talking about it's 50-50 basically on like AI is going to ruin everything. And then other people being like, no, AI is going to help you be more efficient and then do the actual job of coaching instead of just like giving sets and reps.
so you have to explain to me the argument about how it's going to ruin everything.
There's some people that think because AI is making it easier to like, I can go on ChatGPT and be like, hi, I am this much, or I weigh this much, I can lift this much. I would like to have a program that'll help me drop some weight, maybe add some strength for about 12 weeks. I want to work out 4 days a week. And it can prompt out something that's probably okay.
But you can do that with a YouTube search. You can have a video that tells you a 12-week work program. What's the difference? There's no difference.
Faster and less interaction with a person. There's
No,
just some.
but what I'm saying, I guess less interaction. But I mean that information. Like we can go on YouTube right now and find a 14-week program, 12-week program,
I
like
can
just like that.
go on Google and just find one.
That too. Like, but what I'm saying is like I don't see how that ruins anything.
Yeah, I
Right?
agree.
That's what I'm trying to understand. What do they mean by ruin? Like when people say about, oh, it's going to be Terminator, I'm like, they give AI human emotions, but like, why would AI have the same drives that we do?
Yeah.
Right? Like, if AI collects all this information as large language models, and you're asking it questions or whatever, its only motivation is a response to when we ask it a question. If we don't ever ask it, if nobody interacts with AI just lives on a computer and nothing happens.
Yeah. It doesn't get better. It doesn't get worse. It just sits
No,
there.
it just sits there. It only gets better with interaction, right? Because it learns from the questions and the responses, and people give thumbs up and thumbs down and whatnot. But I just personally think AI will be really cool, because I'm now trying to understand how people do automations with AI to a degree. And it's not really, I think it's still just systems. I don't really think it's like true, how they're talking about general intelligence. AI is different than like the automation side of AI,
Yeah.
where it's just like you can plug this in here. If this triggers a response and this does this, then this is this. It's just it's like a very efficient systems, which I've been very curious about. So for the last like week, I'm trying to like passively just like put 2 videos on YouTube a day just to like understand it better. I think it'll just make like, when people worry about that, I think people also have to remember that we've only lived in a time where it's post-industrial revolution, and this is just an idea I have here. I have no idea if it's facts or not, but just we live in a time that's post-industrial revolution, which means everybody is used to the idea of 9 to 5. You come home, you check out, you go home. But before the industrial revolution, people had their own family farms and everything. They didn't have this like set work schedule as they have now.
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you grew up in this, your parents were like that, your grandparents were like that, it's hard to think of a world and a life that's not that, right? So if you had, let's say you had everything automated and you're making enough money, now you're only working 1 hour a day. Are you going to just be lazy and not do anything? No, that comes down to your own personality and what you want to experience in the world, which
Yeah.
I think people are so used to having their day dictated, a good chunk of it because of work, that without that, your identity is gone and you don't know what to do. And because your identity is gone, that's such a world paradigm shift. It's such a paradigm shift that they can't fathom what the world, they think the world's broken without it.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked multiple times on like, there's so many things that people put as part of their identity that never should have been.
Yeah.
And like
They put
the
what
work
they do
schedule is
as
one
their
of,
identity. Yeah.
yeah. And like the work schedule is for sure one of them where it's like, you're right. If that gets taken away or changed, there's going to be well, things aren't how they're supposed to be.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I got something for you. So on one of the calls, I think it was a Thursday call, they were asking on the question about how would name 3 things that define, or how do you define yourself? Okay. And I showed up late for the call. I was doing something else. I showed up late, logged in. I'm trying to understand the question. Like, how do you define yourself? Like, are you that one dimensional that you can define yourself? Like, I know you not as a coach. I know you as a guy that likes anime, that jokes around with me, and we send memes back and forth. So if I was to define you, it's probably not how you're going to define yourself, right? So
Yeah.
I found that interesting because I thought like they would define themselves by, I don't know, things that were very finite. But I'm like, it's hard to define a person if you get to know them
Yeah.
really well. Like you might be like, he's a good person. I think that's a good way to define somebody, but people might think
I think
that's
most people default into job titles.
job titles or adjectives that would describe job titles.
Yeah. Versus like you brought up a good point. Like 3 of my best friends, I'd be like, well, they're just them and they're a good dude.
I like that you said that because when I was talking on the call, like, well, the best example I could put is like my buddy Chad. One time somebody asked, is like, so who's Boo? Like, Boo's Boo. That's what he said. I'm like, and at first, and then this happened so many years ago at the time, I didn't know how to take it. I'm like, okay. And then we just started laughing. And then after that, the call where they said how you define yourself, I'm like, I thought that was that memory popped in my head. I'm like, this is a good memory. Cause like Sean. But if you generally want to know what he's like, he's a great guy. That's what you need to know. And the rest, if you want to find out, your conversation will dictate how you define him. Like outside of that, how would I define you? Like I said, I know you because of anime, memes. We talk about fitness a little bit here and there. We just talk about random ideas that come to our head.
Yeah.
Right. But you interact with somebody only as a coach, they're going to look, oh, this guy knows how to tell me how to lift weights. He knows how to motivate me for things, right? So it's hard to define somebody just like that. But I think the more general definitions actually hold more true for a lot of people, right? Like that guy's an asshole. If that's the one, right? I think that's actually what actually holds true for people when you define them, if that makes sense. That's what I came through from that conversation. So.
No, I think that makes sense.
Yeah, perfect.
But on that note,
an hour and a half.
So. Do need to hop off.
All right, man. Same here. All right. I will try to make some clips and send them your way. And I will chat with you. We'll do this next week again, like normal. All right?
Yeah.
All right, man. Talk to you soon.
I mean, we'll talk again soon.
Great.